500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics.
Fakes the option, now he's going to throw back of the end zone, got a man, touchdown Arkansas. Warren Thompson was wide open.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Hey, what a beautiful day to play some football in Fayetteville. It's Arkansas Game Day. Drew Barrett, Ty Richardson. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. And we've got a good one tonight. Bobby Petrino, we've talked about it all week long, coming back to town, a place that he got Arkansas to heights they hadn't seen in 20, 30, even 40 years. And now he's coming back as an opponent, as the opposing head coach. How fans are going to react, I think, is going to be interesting when he walks out of the visiting tunnel. We've talked about a variety of different things with him coming back in, and now we finally have the game itself, not to just talk about, but to see in front of us tonight. Drew, this is a little different for you, not being an Arkansan and not knowing the really distraction and how the incident kind of torpedoed the program. What has been your assessment this week, the reception from Arkansas fans when it concerns Bobby Petrino?
Well, I've been kind of shocked of how many people still are holding kind of what of a grudge. I think that it's pretty 50-50 from interactions we've had with callers, texters throughout the week of people that are on the side of, hey, forgive and forget. We got Sam Pittman now. Yeah, we went through some bad years, but we're on the up and up. We're back in the top 10 for the second straight year. Let bygones be bygones. And then there's the other crowd that says, you know what? I don't know if I'll ever forgive him. Because you look at 21 wins in 2 seasons. You look at where Arkansas was headed towards. They were headed towards the mountaintop. They were climbing Mount Everest and getting pretty close to the top. And when the incident happened, it felt like it just took everything out of them. Now, I don't think the slide was as bad as a lot of people do. Now, of course, I've watched it all from the outside. I thought, a good amount of the Brett Bielema era was good. I think it ended terribly. Chad Morse was pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go into real detail about that. But now that you have Sam Pittman, you have a guy who has built a culture, who's built a winning program, I would be more in the camp of let bygones be bygones. But then again, Ty, I carry around sports hate from things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago as well. So, I mean, who's to say I wouldn't be in the camp of I'll never forgive him? But
go ahead. Sorry,
I was just going to say. But the thing that I didn't realize until this week was truly how much it still did affect people. I remember watching all this play out, from afar and seeing how some of my Arkansas friends reacted to it, and it has felt like it was much bigger of a deal than I think I gave it credit for.
What do you think? You're more than welcome to jump in. I know many of you are driving up from either Central Arkansas. Maybe you're coming down from North Central Arkansas. Maybe you're already in Fayetteville for the game. That's what the great thing about having a 6 o'clock game is the tailgating. A lot of you are probably sitting around with your friends, your family, getting ready for this one. We'll be with you the next 2 hours prior to Phil and the rest of the guys that will get you going on the Learfield pregame show. Our number is 877-377-6963. So a lot of you woke up like Drew and I did this morning, flipped on College Game Day. It's in Appalachia and the Appalachian Mountains. It's actually North Carolina where Appalachian State is. I couldn't tell you the city that it's actually in, but Boone, North Carolina. I actually have a friend that went there. It looked like a pretty good time, but a lot of you have kind of maybe have started to monitor and watch some of the early games. There's not really good ones in the SEC right now. Missouri is crushing Abilene Christian. Kentucky is pouncing on Youngstown State 28-0, and then Georgia is just taking it to South Carolina and Columbia. I don't know if, Drew, you got a chance to see Shane Beamer's reaction to a question last week following the Arkansas loss, but he's letting some media members get to him, it looks like, and does not look like that game's going to be competitive the rest of the way in Columbia, South Carolina.
No, it doesn't, and it feels like we're probably going to get an answer to a dumb question that Shane Beamer gave last year of why do you think it got out of hand? And he's just going to say the same thing. It's Georgia. I mean, you look at what Kirby Smart has built to that. It's built off the back of Mark Rich that had had a heck of a program, just couldn't get over the hump. Now that Kirby's gotten over the hump, the recruiting classes that he's brought in, I feel like we're set up for that no-brainer answer that Shane Beamer gave last year once again, because it ain't going to be close.
Yeah, it is. Thus far, it's not. Now, there are some interesting games on the SEC slate later on. I hope that Georgia Tech makes that Ole Miss game competitive. We'll have to wait and see. Auburn hosting Penn State. Auburn's actually a 2.5-point underdog on the Plains today. But the ones that stand out the most are the later games. We've got Mississippi State going to Baton Rouge to take on LSU, and then Miami traveling to College Station to take on Texas A&M. Drew, we might have to cut the Aggie Yell clip during the break because I watched another one. And at some point in time, the folks in College Station have to realize that those midnight yells are only hurting recruiting when people across college football are consistently making fun of you. Keep the content coming from our perspective, but, man, those are just brutal.
Yeah, it definitely is. It was bad. I get that, some jokes have to be fully clean at a pep rally and all those other things, but you got to be funny, man. And they're just not funny. They're cringeworthy every time they stop and after they said something, they do the weird little guns a-blazing thing. It's just weird.
It's very odd, and why they continue to go down that path is beyond me, but hey, they're Aggies. They step in mud and get in front of their own way all the time, and they will continue to do so. A lot has been made about Bobby Petrino and him coming back to Fayetteville. I saw the segment, little clip on College Game Day this week, and that's the meat part of the story from a national perspective, and we've touched on it on several shows here, not just on the Morning Rush, but Halftime and Ruskin and Zach. And but the story, y'all, the story is your football team. The story is what Sam Pittman has done following not just Bobby Petrino, but John L. Smith, Brett, mediocre, whatever, and then Chad Morris. We know how much of a train wreck that was. And the fact that you find yourself waking up on the third Saturday, third week of the fall as a top 10 team, Drew, that is the story of your football. Is what Sam Pittman has done. Not Bobby Petrino, but what Coach Pittman has done for this team.
Oh, that should be the story with today's game. And it should be the story going forward about what Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles and Barry Odom truly have built here. They've built a solid foundation, a solid program, a program that you feel is only going to get bigger and better as time goes on. Even if, Barry and Kendall leave, I think Sam has built a standard of excellence when it comes to his assistant coaches. You look at some of the position coaches, how well they've been able to recruit and everything else that goes into it. The story shouldn't be look at where we were because of Bobby Petrino. The story should be look at where we are because of Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. What are you looking at this morning? I say this morning, it's this afternoon, 877-377-6963. You got a young man from Sardis, Mississippi, who elected to come to a program when it was down in the dumps. His name's KJ Jefferson. You know him well. And he's been magnificent through 2 games. Hasn't had a turnover, not forcing the ball, and he's going to break, in my opinion, if he continues to play like this. And I know he'll face stiffer competition at some point. He has a great chance to break the record that you saw broken 2 years ago by Felipe Franks. I think it was Kevin Scanlon. Y'all might have to help me that. Quarterback from, I believe, the 70s or 80s. Again, that's not my territory. You listeners probably have a better understanding of him back in. I might have double check on that. But the thing is Kendall Briles has done a fantastic job in figuring out the strengths of his quarterback and putting him in perfect, ideal situations. Defenses are so bent out of shape in what KJ can do running the football. The running backs that you have, we've seen Rocket Sanders emerge as a big-time back. Dominique Johnson's not even back yet. Hopefully we get a chance to see him today. But KJ Jefferson gives you the sense that even if you're down late in the game and it's close, you're not scared. And I don't think it's going to be that close tonight, frankly. I think Arkansas is going to pull away probably in the second or third quarter. But we're talking about what Sam Pittman has done for the program. Man, KJ Jefferson has had just as much as impact, Drew, than anyone on this football team. He's been wonderful thus far this year.
Oh, that he has. I mean, you just look at his completion to incompletion rate. I mean, the guy has 36 completions to 9 incompletions. I mean, that is a heck of a stat that every single quarterback in the country right now would love to have. And the passing game, it's come on slow, even though you, like I just said, 36 completions. It felt like last week the wide receivers really did take a step forward. I expect them to take another big step forward against lesser competition this week to get you fully ready for, what do you really have in A&M? I mean, that's the big question. You look at what happened against App State last week down in College Station. You see what might go down tonight against Miami. So still have some question marks with the teams that you're facing. I brought this up yesterday. I mean, realistically, going forward right now, you've shown that you can score and defend well enough that nothing really scares you at this point. And, even with some of the things that haven't been, I guess, 100% up to par, and that first thing that everybody's going to throw out there has been the secondary. But when you have a great defensive line, you have those linebackers, that makes up for it. And then when you just have the offensive power of KJ Jefferson, a guy that his accuracy is day and night to where it was this time last year, a guy who is just too physically dominating to be scared by any defense, and a guy that is just able to control the pace of the game, control the game. That's the great thing. We talk about a lot of quarterbacks. Is he a playmaker or is he a game manager? And I think when you look at KJ Jefferson, you can check both of those boxes, and that's not very common. You can't really always say that a guy is a game manager and a playmaker, but with KJ Jefferson, you definitely can.
And he controls the game, and I think sometimes game manager, to your point, is meant as a criticism of sorts. Well, he can't be the difference maker. He's just a game manager. But KJ controls the game in such a way. And a lot has been made about the defense as well through 2 games. One of the reasons that Arkansas, I think, especially on that defensive line, has been good, not only the depth that Chuck talked about yesterday, but y'all think about this. When you're consistently controlling the game, time of possession, breaking down the will of the opponent and their defense, that gives your defense energy. And when Bumper Pool and Drew Sanders and Terry Hampton and the other guys are watching KJ mash the other team and the offensive line, they want to have that same type of impact. And I think that you're going to continue to see, as long as Arkansas continues to control the line of scrimmage on offense, I think the defense is almost going to take that as if they're doing that, Drew, we have to step up as well, especially on that defensive line, which we've seen with 9 sacks through 2 games. And
they definitely have. I mean, with Drew Sanders coming off the edge and the impact that him and Bumper Pool, and you talk about Pooh Paul, him as well, having that second line of defense, and the way that they've really moved from 3 to 4 back to 3 and kind of rotated that extra man into the secondary, going from a 3-2-6 to a 4-2-5. It has been phenomenal to watch, and I think that we're really getting to – this is the first time in the Barry Odom era where we're getting to see exactly what a true Barry Odom defense looks like, because he's got the guys and he's got the talent. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of talent on that defensive front. I mean, you talk about Terry Hampton, you got to look at Landers as well. Down there in the Trent, not Landers, Jordan Dominic. Yeah, I'm sorry. Down there as well. And you've got the guys to make the plays, and they're showing up and they're showing out. And I expect it to continue tonight, and I expect it to continue in the weeks coming in the future.
We're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. I was just told that everything on the lot has been marked down, and get this, you could save up to $5,000 off. Some have been marked down up to $5,000 off here at Randall Ford. Come on by and see us. This is Arkansas Game Day. We're at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Well, it's football season. The weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payments where you need it, give you the most for your trade-in. And, you know, they've been doing this a long time. 114 plus years in business and the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Why would you want to shop anywhere else? Come see us today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp code, lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
When it comes to your vehicle dent repairs, you want a local professional that you can trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your place. Michael, his family, and team have been in the community for over 30 years and are the best in the business. When all the other pop-up hail damage places have packed up and left town, Littleton's is still here taking care of your vehicle every day. Stay local. Stay with the best. Stay with the name you know and trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Highway 112 off I-540 in Pecola.
If you are looking for a tractor to fit your farm or property, from landscapers to ranchers, take a look at the all-new Bad Boy tractors, built tough to be a workhorse in the field. Bad Boy has a history of combining power, performance, and quality, and you will find that in every tractor they sell. See your local Bad Boy tractor dealer in Western Arkansas, Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma, or visit almatractor.com.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert in Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Wave Rural Connect has opened their Lutherville zone, serving Hagerville, Knoxville, Lamar, and Ross areas with fiber internet starting at $49.95 a month. TV and phone service available too. Sign up now and the $100 install fee is being waived. Call 833-492-8372 or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com and get the best customer service available and the fastest internet from Wave. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook where you can check out their work.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattlers got time into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the Razorbacks. Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
All right, we're back here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, the fourth oldest Ford dealer in the country. Drew, I was checking in during the break of the Oklahoma-Nebraska scores. We now welcome Jimmy from Randall Ford. Oklahoma's winning 42-7.
They're just
Jimmy,
lucky.
42-7. I was hoping Nebraska would give a game. It was 7-7 at one point, and then they're just piling over. Well, you were telling me, man, I was telling people in the first segment, you guys have marked everything down here at Randall Ford, and in some cases, up to $5,000 off.
Well, here's the deal. Some of these vehicles have been here 90 days, and once they've been here over 90 days, Ty, then Randall has to start paying a little extra on them, and so that makes our costs go up. Well, we mark them down to sell them, or it doesn't cost us. I mean, it's just it's checks and balances. So we've gone through. Plus, the used car market has started to drop down, and instead of having to pay crazy prices for them, we're marking them down to get ahead of that, and we have all the prices online. So the other dealerships, their prices are still going to be higher. Ours will be lower. Gives us a little bit of an advantage because we got ahead of the thing.
And you guys have one of the 2021 first edition Broncos. I'm admiring this beautiful truck out here, but I mean, there's only 2,000 made in the country.
Right.
You guys have one of those here.
Yeah, I mean, it has 123 miles. It's used. It's pre-owned. 123 miles on it. You will not find another one around this area like it. It's a first edition. It's a 2021. We have a brand new retro truck. This is something that it's like the Venomar package that we put on them at Randall. We had a two-door XL. Sent it over to our friends at California Customs. Did a tremendous job on it. They two-toned it. We put the roll bar in the back of it with the KC lights. They lifted it, leveled it, put the new tires and wheels on it with the brush guard in the front. This thing looks like an old-school truck rolling down the highway, man. So if you like that old-school feel, if you're like me and you're old and you like the look of those older F-150s, come by and check this one out, sitting right out front.
New Explorers, new Rangers that you guys got last week as well, and it's nice to have the number one selling truck in the industry right outside front. Jimmy, tell me about the thought process going through your head with Bobby Petrino coming back to town.
I'm digging it. It was just, it's like anything else. I was a Bobby Petrino fan. He did a lot for this program. He embarrassed this program a little bit, but more importantly, he embarrassed himself because that was something personal, even though it did affect the university. But Petrino on the field, hell of a coach. And, I mean, you can't get past what he did. And so he got us out of the doldrums, made us enjoy winning again, and then embarrassed himself. And a lot of theories about whether it was a wreck or whether it wasn't a wreck or whether he just pulled over and then, and then got his tail whipped. A lot of stories, and it's fun to rehash that. And everybody's, oh, no, I know exactly what happened. I was told. And it's all third hand because nobody knows exactly.
Yeah, no one was actually there.
I do know one thing. I'm loving what Pittman's doing. I love the fact that KJ, when he first got put in, he was like a novelty. And then some people didn't believe in him, didn't think he could throw. Well, I think he's erased that. Some people didn't believe in him because they thought he had got too big and was slow. Well, he'll run right over you. I think he's a great young man. He's great for this program, and I think he helps recruiting because people see that, listen, you come to Arkansas, you play your tail off, you stay committed, you're going to play.
Jimmy, we'll leave it there. What's the score prediction before we let you go?
Oh, man. as many as they want to put on him.
It's going to be a
Bobby's going to throw the ball. He'll pull some gadget plays, but listen, as many as Arkansas wants to put on him, I don't think Pittman will run the score up on him. I don't think he'll embarrass him because he's classy. And hey, I just hope Bobby enjoys coming back to Fayetteville, and I hope the fans treat him good.
We'll see what happens tonight
Thanks,
at 6 o'clock. Appreciate it, Jimmy. As we're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. You brought this up on Wednesday, Drew, and you got a lot of feedback on both sides of the coin. Are you going to wear the neck brace? Do you think it's disrespectful? Hey, it's just kids. And I think you're going to see predominantly the students pull that off today. But you'll see some older gentlemen, and kind of like Tommy was joking yesterday, if you're a 50-year-old man and you're wearing a neck brace, what are you doing? I mean, listen, I'm not one to judge anyone the way I dress and the way I look sometimes, but it is going to be a factor tonight how when he walks into the stadium and when he's leading his team out, and not just the students, but what's going to happen with just when he steps foot on that field tonight.
Yeah, that is the big question. What kind of reception is he going to get? And when I talked about it on Wednesday throughout the show, and we got plenty of response. I mean, probably over 40 different opinions just on our text line alone, along with about 10 callers. And it was a little 50-50. But for me, it's a lot of kind of what you said. Let the kids be kids. It's funny. It's been a long time. I feel like that it's something that if I was in college, I would have wanted to do. I would have thought it was funny. But now that I'm at a certain age, I know that let the kids be kids. Me act like the 28-year-old that I am. It's if you're 18 to 22, have at it. If you're 45, probably not the best look for you, buddy. So, but then again, who am I to tell anybody what else to do?
877-377-6963. If you have an opinion on this game tonight, it's Drew Barrett, Ty Richardson live here on Arkansas Game Day. We got Randall in Appleton, Wisconsin that's listening to us right now. And just a reminder for everyone out there, I know a lot of you are listening on your favorite ESPN Arkansas radio station, but we also have hitthatline.com where you can always listen live to not just your pre- and post-game shows, Arkansas Game Day and Hog Reaction, but also Chuck and Quinn. What I did last week is I synced up my television, turned that off, and then, put it on mute, and then listen to Chuck and Quinn and Gino on the game, which is definitely something you can do. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, in addition to the Morning Rush and Halftime as well. I think about for college football today, we mentioned some of the other games. This isn't just some marquee game tonight. It's marquee and it's attractive to fans because it's an event. That's probably the best term Chuck's used all week. It's not just a game, y'all. It is an event tonight to see everything that goes into this game because, as we've talked about, I know everyone remembers the train wreck, and I say train wreck, the motorcycle wreck, and the bad times and the aftermath that followed. But, y'all, I watched a lot of those games last night. I was just bored. Late last night, I was walking, I guess, on the treadmill, and I did not want to run on Friday. But I'm watching these games, and I'm just remembering how fun it was to watch Joe Adams, Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, Tyler Wilson, Ryan Mallett, and these outstanding in-state and out-of-state players that you managed to get up on campus to the Hill. And I think what needs to be remembered about this, and I'm not one to tell people what to do whatsoever. It's a free country. It's the greatest country in the world. But what I will say is we can't just remember the end. You have to remember the beginning and then the middle and the meat of what was fun. I mean, that Cotton Bowl, man, kicking Kansas State's butt and watching Beckett and those guys walk away with that trophy, that was some fun times for Arkansas football. Even getting to go to the Sugar Bowl, which I know is a game that many of you wish we had back when Ryan threw that final interception. But, man, oh, man, those were 2 fun years for Arkansas football.
Yeah, they were, and that's the thing that I think that a lot of people are starting to remember this week as we've talked about, as we brought it up a lot. And I think most people will be receptive of him. It's one night. It's not like you're going to have to see him every single year. He's not coach of the SEC. You're not going to play Missouri State every single year. It's a one-time thing. Remember the meat and potatoes, the realness of it, not just the end. It's kind of like a relationship, right? You even if things end badly, leave you with a sour taste in your mouth, you can always go back to well, what made that person special and what made that relationship worth doing at the time. And you can remember those good times that you had, and I think a lot of people will pull those memories out, and it will be a good vibe around the stadium for him.
The best analogy that I've heard this week is you have this incredible wife that you love and treasure dearly, and she may be your fifth one, but you're never letting her go. That's your Sam Pittman. You went through Bobby, you went through John L., you went through Brett, you went through Morris, and now you finally got to Sam Pittman. And listen, there were some good times sprinkled in there, no question. I'm not trying to say there wasn't, and there probably was with your previous four wives. But there's not a single one of you that's listening right now that will either step on into that stadium or that watch the game or listen to the game right here that would trade Sam Pittman for what you got. He is a perfect embodiment of this state, the blue collar. Hey, you don't think I can do this? Fine, I'm going to prove you wrong. He's done that since he's arrived at Arkansas. You look at the streaks that have been broken in his tenure. I'm not just talking about the bowl games. I'm not just talking about getting SEC wins. I'm talking about finally getting the monkey off your back and beating A&M. There was a losing streak against Missouri. There shouldn't have been, but there was. You still want that Alabama win. I know. Trust me. It haunts me when I go to bed every single night that Arkansas has not beat Alabama since 2006. But that guy that's leading your football program doesn't care what's happened in the past from a bad standpoint. Now, he brings up the good times like he's brought up with Petrino this week, Drew, but he doesn't use the bad times or the previous mistakes as an excuse when his football team plays and competes every Saturday.
No, he doesn't, because he knows that the past is the past and that all he can control is what's going on in the present and what's going to happen in the future. And that's the thing about Sam Pittman is everything you just said, that he truly does embody the spirit of Arkansas. There's a reason that when he got here, he said this was his last job. There's a reason that he has not worried about money. I mean, yes, we remember everything that went in with the man who runs college football from Poplar and Ridgeway in Memphis, Tennessee with Jimmy Sexton. But it came out to where it was a great deal on both sides. There's a reason that his contract is incentive-based. It really does matter how they do on the field depending on how much he gets paid. He is the guy that says, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to bet on what my program can do, and the better we do, the more you can pay me. I will accept that because I've earned that. If I don't earn it, you can pay me less. How many people out there would put their livelihood and their financial well-being for the future on percentage-based performance? I mean, a lot of people wouldn't like the idea of, hey, if I have a few bad months or a bad quarter here, yeah, go ahead, you can pay me less. But with Sam Pittman, he believes in himself. He believes in this program. He believes in this state that he has the utmost confidence to be able to go out there and do that because, like you said, he knows that a lot of people didn't believe in him, that he could get the job done when he got the job. So he's just constantly wanting to prove every single person wrong. Now, here's the problem, Ty. How many more people does he have to prove wrong? Because, I mean, you look around Arkansas. He is. You look around Arkansas. Heck, you start to look around national media. I mean, guys that cover college football from L.A. to New York. And Sam Pittman is one of their favorite coaches because he's such a great guy to root for. Now, ultimately, what you want is to win enough and to be good enough every single year where it gets annoying. You want the national people to turn against you, not because you're losing, but because you're winning so darn much. There's a reason people hate Nick Saban. There's a reason that people hated Dabo Swinney. It wasn't because of their personalities or who they are. Well, I mean, parts of that can come into it. It's when Saban goes on his rants and Dabo makes outlandish comments about the portal and how he'll never coach again with NIL, and then obviously just signed a new $10 million, 10-year contract extension. But the reason that people truly hate them is because they win. You hate winners. You want to ultimately change that national tide of go plucky little Arkansas, go Sam Pittman, we're all here for you, we'll believe in you, to, gosh, will you please stop winning so much? We need something new.
Winning is the ultimate goal, obviously. And Tommy always says, I mean, there could be a lot of things that could go right within your athletics program, but if you're not winning in football, it really doesn't matter. And he's 100% spot on that line of thinking. We're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Over 200 used vehicles right now. Come on by and see us. We got a full showroom out. There's a lot of people in here that have stopped on by prior to this game tonight. When we come back, we'll give you another Bud Light scoreboard update. Also got Chuck's conversation with Chris Lowe that we're going to play for you to start the 2 o'clock hour. This is Arkansas Game Day live from Randall Ford.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off 5540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Phil Hicks in Greenwood about Shelter's home insurance.
Do you have concerns about the integrity of your roof? Liberty Roofing of Fort Smith and the surrounding area is here and ready to serve you. Liberty Roofing is here for all your roofing needs. Quality roofing services, licensed, insured, and certified. Give Liberty Roofing a call at 650-6231 to get started for a free roof inspection and estimate. Call 650-6231. Liberty Roofing is here to tend to all your roofing needs. Let Liberty Roofing cover you. Check us out on Facebook.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattlers got time into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the Razorbacks. Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Hey, back here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. A little disappointed with the 11 o'clock slate thus far. I was hoping for some better games, but I'm going to be honest, y'all, really haven't had much.
Snoozers.
Yeah, a lot of snoozers. SEC, I mean, they're plowing through some teams right now. Kentucky's up 28-0 on Youngstown State. Man, Georgia, 45-0 over South Carolina. Michigan's clobbering Connecticut, 45-0. Oklahoma's beating the tar out of Nebraska, 49-7. So not a lot going on in terms of great college football games right now. So let's talk about some games today as we get into our Bud Light scoreboard update. All right, so those are the games going on right now. We got some fun ones later on. And I mentioned this on Friday. There wasn't a lot for me to pay attention to when it comes to BYU football because Arkansas just wasn't going to play them. This year's a little different. I've watched them, and I'm going to watch them continue. They go to the Autzen Zoo tonight to take on the Oregon Ducks. I say tonight, that game's on 2:30. In addition to Penn State going to Auburn, that should be an interesting game with Brian Harsin and company. I don't know what's going to happen in that one. The two SEC games, though, to keep an eye on tonight are Miami and Texas A&M, and then also LSU hosting Mississippi State. Drew, what is your read on the game in College Station, the game in Baton Rouge?
My read, I don't really know what's going to happen in realistically either one, because how is Miami back? Yeah, they're another top 25 team, but we've also watched this happen every single year where they seem to get the Miami's back type of treatment, kind of like Texas does. You know, how good really is Miami? And then on the flip side of that, in College Station, how good is Texas A&M? We don't know. There's so many things up in the air, and then you go down to Baton Rouge. What are you really going to get out of Brian Kelly's LSU team, which he didn't look very good in week one, lost to Florida State on the block field goal, then obviously put a beat down on Southern. Well, what can you really tell from a game against Southern? And you look at Mississippi State. I thought they were very impressive in week one. I thought they were really impressive in week two against Arizona. I think that Mississippi State is a lot better than I think we gave them credit for coming into the year, especially with year three, Mike Leach, Will Rogers back, and him performing at a pretty high level in that air raid offense. So I give the edge to Mississippi State in Baton Rouge. And then you look at going back to A&M. I mean, realistically, what does Jimbo have in Max Johnson? I mean,
yep,
that's another question mark, man. Like, and that's why you look at Arkansas's future schedule. You feel pretty confident about some of the things that you've seen out of Arkansas's opponents outside of BYU. You feel pretty confident leading up into the bye week after BYU.
BYU's a good football team. And no, they're not an SEC opponent, but they've got good talent on the line of scrimmage, and Jaron Hall can sling it a little bit too. Here's a text from Zach in Paragould. Spencer Rattler honestly looks pretty overwhelmed right now and doesn't look like he understands the system. Well, Zach, to be honest, I think a lot of people would be overwhelmed competing against that Georgia defense. I mean, Kirby Smart has that thing rolling right now. I am waiting, assuming. Now, Arkansas is going to have something to say about who's playing the SEC championship. Don't kid yourself. They will have an impact on that game. Will they be there? I'm not willing to say that. But Georgia's going to be on the other side in the East. And that is going to be an intense game, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Arkansas. That's going to be a tough out for anyone when they meet in Atlanta because they do not play in the regular season. Got a question, some Arkansas questions, again, as we're kind of getting on our Bud Light scoreboard update, which there's not a lot of great games right now, so we're talking about some later ones. Here's a message from Ian on YouTube. He's saying, I really hope the Hogs look like a team they know they are. This whole trap game talk week had me annoyed, even though I understand where that feeling comes from. Ian, I think that's a good point by you, bud. Here's what I'll say. The fact that it's Bobby Petrino that is the head coach, and so many teams in the first 2 weeks fell, specifically in week 2, i.e. Notre Dame to Marshall and Texas A&M to Appalachian State. You heard players talk about that all week, specifically Isaiah Nichols. That, to me, I think that they know that if they play bad, the way as brilliant as a mind Bobby Petrino is, there's a chance. Now, there's always a chance. We know that. But I just don't see this football team taking Missouri State lightly tonight, Drew, and I think they're going to come ready to play.
I don't either. Sam Pittman is too good of a coach, too good of a leader for this really to be a trap game. And that's another thing. Which among us said trap game? I don't remember that being a overlining theme on the Morning Rush. I know it wasn't on halftime, and I don't think that Derek and Zach would do that. Now, you never know what's going to come out of those two guys' mouth, but where was this talk as far as us here at hitthatline.com and ESPN Arkansas as a trap game? I think that's more of fans' water cooler talk.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on this station has labeled it that, but you have had a few fans curious. I wouldn't say concerned or worried, but they have been curious about how this team's going to show up tonight. We're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Many of you making your way to the game right now, listening on ESPN Arkansas, or maybe you're on hitthatline.com. Again, we are all over the state, y'all. That's the great thing about this company that Tommy's built up is we've got stations in Northwest Arkansas on ESPN 99.5, stations in North Central Arkansas, Harrison Mountain Home 104.3, also 96.3 Hot Springs Central Arkansas, and then 95.3 the River Valley in Fort Smith, in addition to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, the ESPN radio app, the TuneIn app. We are all over the place. We're also going to listen in to Chuck Barrett's conversation with Chris Lowe. He was on the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast, episode 7 yesterday, and really kind of cataloged the Bobby Petrino relationships with different people over the years. Chris is a tremendous college football writer for ESPN. I thought Chuck got a lot of good intel and information about Petrino's approach to this game. When we come back, your calls and texts as we're live on Arkansas Game Day from Randall Ford.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Alone, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Light Beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, it's football season. The weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payments where you need it, give you the most for your trade-in. And, you know, they've been doing this a long time. 114-plus years in business and the 4th oldest Ford dealership in America. Why would you want to shop anywhere else? Come see us today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
When you need to customize your ride, whether for work or play, check out River Valley Truck Outfitters. Full line of LED lights for your headlights to work lights, B&W hitches, toolboxes, ladder racks for all your work needs or play, grill guards to full front bumper replacements, full line of WeatherTech and Husky floor mats. Let River Valley Truck Outfitters get your window tinting on. Best prices and quality in the Fort Smith area. River Valley Truck Outfitters can get your ride ready on Highway South 71 on top of Rye Hill. 648-8855. That's 648-8855.
You know the Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on. Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3010 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert in Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment, not having enough home time, feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattler's got time into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the Razorbacks. Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
All right, we're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Let's take our first call of the day. That's Cody, who's in Rector, Arkansas. Cody, is Camillo's? Is it still around there in Rector?
What was that?
Is Camillo still around there in Rector?
No.
It's not there anymore? Okay. It's been a while since I've been over that neck of the woods. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm excited about this game tonight. Seeing Bobby Petrino coming back, and just all the amazing things he did at Arkansas. I don't think this is going to be a walkthrough game by no means. He's going to come into Fayetteville wanting to win. But I'm really wanting to see these freshmen at wide receivers. Satania, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm ready to see if they put him in the game, Manny. I want to see what that kid can do. And I'm also wanting to see how this defense looks. They've been playing a little off the last couple weeks, the secondary. But everybody wants to hate on Hudson Clark, and, I think the kid plays good even in man coverage. I think he's been covering pretty good. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a big victory tonight. I'm ready to see Bobby Petrino back, and I hope we show some class tonight, not bringing out the neck braces and all that.
Well, they're coming,
what do y'all
Cody.
think about? Huh?
I said the neck braces are coming real quick. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope we show some class and be mature about things. The stuff's in the past. Just leave it.
Cody, sorry I had to cut you off, man. We're up against the break. Yeah, I think, buddy, I think there'll be a lot of students that do that. I don't know how many adults are going to be wearing neck braces tonight, but you never know. It is Arkansas. All right, hour 2 coming up. Let's talk with Chuck Barrett and Chris Lowe
Football
next.
season, the weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payments where you need it, give you the most for your trade-in, and, they've been doing this a long time. 114-plus years in business and the 4th oldest Ford dealership in America. Why would you want to shop anywhere else? Come see us today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light. Crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you an experienced concrete finisher? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com. Are you an experienced dump truck driver? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with the click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
Hey, where's the rest of the beer?
I'm probably out unless you clowns brought some.
Well, I've already had 3. Who's going to get more?
Order it from your phone.
From where?
Sody's delivers.
You mean where my girlfriend gets her wine and those cheese plates?
And if you don't want to drive, that's where you can order it. My free beer is gone.
Sody's now delivers inside Fort Smith city limits. Just order from mysodys.com or download the Sody's app and order from your phone. Sody's Wine and Spirits. Experience different.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Cooler weather is on the horizon. If football games and fall festivals are on your list of things to do and places to go, make sure your vehicle's maintenance is up to date first. This is Mark with W&W Automotive. Keeping your car and truck on a seasonal maintenance schedule will ensure better gas mileage, better wear on your tires, and a safer trip wherever you go. To schedule a fall tune-up, call me or Kelly at 242-1600 or drop by W&W just off Townsend on South O in Fort Smith. That's W&W Automotive, a bumper-to-bumper certified shop.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This is Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Arkansas Athletics.
Takes the option now. He's going to throw back of the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown, Arkansas. Warren Thompson was wide open.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
You know, a lot of you have started to listen to the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast. We've been through 7 episodes at this point. Chuck's done a marvelous job in giving you the content that you're not going to get anywhere else. That's what he provides as the best sports radio host the state has ever seen, and hopefully at some point the best podcast host the state has ever seen. And in his latest podcast that was released yesterday morning, he sat down with Chris Lowe. Chris is a fantastic college football writer with ESPN and did a wonderful job detailing Bobby Petrino, his relationships, his family, everything involved in this game. So we're going to take you inside episode 7 of this podcast. Here is Chuck's conversation with Chris Lowe.
We are very pleased today on the podcast to welcome Chris Lowe of ESPN.com. I think he's just one of the best college football writers out there, and I still like to read as opposed to seeing everything through video, and Chris is one of the best. And Chris, first off, I know it's a busy time for you. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you guys.
Now, before we get into the piece you wrote this week about Bobby Petrino's return to Fayetteville, I just want to get your thoughts on this Razorback football team. You watch a lot of college football. What do you think of this team and maybe what Sam Pittman's been able to do in a short amount of time?
It's remarkable what he's done. I mean, when you think he took over a program that had lost 19 straight SEC games, and then you watch what they did last year, what they did in the first SEC game this year, the way they just have bullied people physically. What they've done with KJ Jefferson, Kendall Browse, and entire offensive staff, the way they brought him along. What Barry Odom has done, he's been able to fill some gaps on defense this year. And then the way that the players respond to Sam, and the way they rally, the toughness and physicality they play with, I'm really impressed. I love to watch the play. I didn't get to see a lot of the South Carolina game last week. I saw some of it, but I watched almost all of the Cincinnati game. And that's, to me, that's vintage Sam Pittman football. And the way they run the ball, the way they play with such an edge. I think right now, Georgia, I think most people would agree, is the best team in the league. Alabama is still number 2, even they struggled last week. But if you're looking for a 3, I think right now what we've seen in 2 weeks, Arkansas is 3. Now, will they be there 5 weeks from now? I don't know. I'll say this about the Hogs. They have the talent and the coaching, I think, and the approach to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league. You know, what I don't like about the Hogs is their schedule's brutal. You know, when you have to go to BYU in the middle of the season, sandwiched around SEC games, that's never a schedule conducive to be a team that's going to win 10-plus games. That said, then, I don't know that I would put that past Sam and his team. They really have something special brewing there in Fayetteville.
You wrote a piece earlier this week about Bobby Petrino's return to Fayetteville. It's been an interesting week in Arkansas because normally a game against an FCS opponent on the 3rd week wouldn't even be a blip on the radar. But because of all the things surrounding it, it's become a tough ticket. It's an event in our state. I think a lot of people in Arkansas wonder, has Bobby Petrino mellowed? You spoke with him for this, and I know you've probably spoken with him some other times too. It's a simple question, but I think that's what people wonder about. What was your take when you visited with him?
Bobby is truly remorseful that it ended the way it did at Arkansas for a couple of different reasons. A, that it embarrassed his family, his wife in particular. And I think B, Bobby knew that they were on the cusp of doing something special there in football. The way they had it rolling, his ability to bring in the kind of kids he was doing, and the way they played, the way he developed them. And that, Arkansas really hadn't been to that level in a long time. I think that eats at him. What could we have done? What would that program have been had I not screwed it up? He's pretty candid about that. It was on him, not anybody else. It was on Bobby. He's a tough, hard, in your face. It's when you go watch Bobby's practices, you don't think you're in Sunday school. With some of the language and the way he gets after people. But you talk to players who played for him at Louisville and even way back when he was a quarterbacks coach, guys like Mark Brunell, certainly guys here at Arkansas. They will tell you that there were a lot of times they didn't really necessarily like it. They didn't like the language. They didn't like some of the things he did and the way he treated them. But as they look back on it, and we're probably all like this to some degree, teachers, principals, coaches in our lives, they're thankful that he did push and challenge the way he did, because it made them, better football players. Eric Wood at Louisville said very succinctly, he said, listen, the way he coached me allowed me to play 9 years in the NFL. He was a Pro Bowl player. I don't know that without Petrino challenging me every day the way he did, that I would have been able to play that long and to that level. So I think Bobby's a guy that if you're around him and you look back on those times you were with him, you appreciate him a lot more than maybe you do in the present. And that's just, again, that's the coach, the hard nose. I know his dad was like that. He played for his dad. He coached for his dad out there in Montana. But no, he's just, I think Tyler Wilson, I can't remember which one, or DJ Williams, one of the kids who played there at Arkansas said it best, that he was an acquired taste. And I'll say this for Bobby, having spent like a day and a half with him in Springfield, Missouri, he really seems to be in a good place. His grandkids are all there, all 8 of them. His entire family is there, with the exception of his youngest son, Bobby Jr., who's out running one of these Hot Works fitness centers out in Colorado. But having his whole family and his 2 son-in-laws and Nick, his son, on his staff, I think has really been a big deal for he and Becky and that entire family. And I don't think anybody's surprised that he's going in there and turning that program around. That's sort of who he is as a football coach. Has he mellowed, to answer your question? I don't know. I don't know that Bobby's ever going to mellow. I don't know if that's really in his DNA. But, his son, LD Scott, his son-in-law, I thought what he said was pretty telling. He said, I've seen a lot of different versions of Bobby Petrino. This might be the best, the most relaxed version of him I've seen. And, I know Bobby is good coaching those kids and giving them another chance, just like he got another chance, multiple chances. And I know we all wonder, and I asked him, will he get another shot on the big stage? Will another Power 5 president or AD take a shot on him? I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility, because the guy can coach his butt off, but it's going to have to take probably a strong president or chancellor, a strong AD to say, you know what, despite all the baggage and despite his reputation and despite the fact that when you hear his name, immediately you think of that wreck in Arkansas and you think of some other things, this guy has proven that he can get a program to elite level. We're going to take a shot on him and see what he can do at our place. I think there's always at least one of those somewhere that may indeed give him another shot.
It's interesting you bring up the family angle. My impression of Coach Petrino when he was here was it was always Bobby Petrino against the world. And, Bobby Petrino by himself. I get the sense now, and I want to hear what you think about this, having been there, that he feels like he's got a pack now. I mean, his family's on board. It's not just Bobby Petrino against the world. It's me and my whole family maybe against the world. But it doesn't seem like he's fighting by himself anymore.
No, he's very I think he's empowered by the fact that his whole family's there. He mentioned that multiple times when I was with him. The fact that every Wednesday is the early practice there, for instance, and his grandkids, most all of them are there, and they run out on the field and or hug him, and he's messing around, playing with them, throwing them up. up and down the air. That part of it, I know that he really is grateful for to have him there. You know, because when we go through times and we have some of the self-inflicted things that he's had, and you maybe you're on the cusp of losing your family, you probably are a lot more grateful that you're still with him and they're all there. I know he is. And that, you know, to your point, you know, I think that they are in this together, and he feels that way. I think his family has reassured him of that. Bobby is, if you talk to 10 people, and I tried my best in writing that story to talk to
In case you're just jumping in with us here on Arkansas Game Day, Chuck got a chance to sit down with Chris Lowe on the latest edition of the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast, presented by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, and this is the conversation.
Version. The stories are all different, but the sort of the common theme is he's sort of a perfectionist who's can be brutally honest, sometimes to the point where he rubs people wrong. I love Steve Cox's anecdote. Their buddy, Steve Cox, admits, he said, listen, I never played high school sports. I'm not an athlete, so I go to his fantasy camps. You know, and he still gives me grief that I'm one of the most unathletic guys he's ever seen at his camp. Well, that's Bobby in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. You know, that's exactly who he is. I don't think he's ever going to apologize for that. I don't think he's ever going to change. But, you know, he's also not this guy. You know, if you've been around him in settings outside football, you know, he's not always one of these abrasive, in-your-face, cuss you out kind of guys. There are different versions of him. It's just that he doesn't show that version to many people.
Yeah, I was interested when I read the quotes from the former players and administrators that you cited a minute ago. There was always that one line in their quote where they talked about what a great coach he was. Jeff Long even said in his last line, but I still maintain he's a hell of a coach. You know, Tyler Wilson in his first comment said he's one of the best I've ever played for. I didn't like him at first, but he's one of the best I've ever played for. That's the common theme. You've been around his football program, or we're around his program there for a couple of days. It's still all football with him. And I get the sense that he'd love to get all this coming back to Fayetteville behind him, but he relishes the opportunity to play an SEC team.
Yeah, he does. It's sort of see what his team can do. I mean, they're a good team. He's brought in some really good players, and his quarterback is dynamic, you know, really athletic. Jason Shelley, I think he's a guy that in the FCS ranks will be one of the best players in the country this year. Bobby loves a challenge, man. He's a competitor, fierce competitor, and that's probably, like a lot of coaches, have gotten the best of him at times. I don't think he relishes coming back to Arkansas and having to relive the past. I can tell you when I talked to him and when I would ask him some of those questions, you know, he would squirm a little bit. I don't think that's his favorite topic, nor would it be mine, about what happened 10 years ago and the way he handled it. But no, you're right, man. I think bringing his football team back against a really good team, against a top 10 team nationally, is something he relishes, to see, hey, how do we fare against one of the best teams in America? And then going forward, what he can do with this team. There's a lot of hope around Missouri State, around Springfield, that they can be a legitimate title challenger this year. It can go deep in the FCS playoffs. He's all football all the time. And that's what he loves. He loves scheming up. He loves practicing. He loves developing. He loves pushing guys to their limit, just sort of who he is. I mean, don't you think it's telling that all 8 of his grandkids call him coach? Every one of them call him coach. And I think he loves that. But no, again, that's who he is. And yeah, I think there'll be a part of him that, you know, just like when I was with him, I don't think he really was jumping up and down about some of the questions I asked him. He knew they were coming, to his credit. And I don't think, you know, as he comes back, that part of Arkansas sort of rears its head again, that he's going to be just eager to sort of relive that. But there are a lot of good times there too. And I think Bobby, when I talked to him, you know, he made that clear that he's done his best over time to remember what they did and what they built. And I'll never forget, and we talked about this, I'll never forget sitting in Baton Rouge that Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving in 2011. And LSU's 1 and Alabama's 2 and Arkansas's 3. You know, if the Hogs win this game, they're probably going to play for the national championship. And you're talking about something that, a conversation that hadn't happened there in Arkansas since Lou Holtz was in the 70s. So he had that program on the doorstep of potentially playing for national championships. And I think down deep, that's what Bobby's going to remember when he comes back, that, you know what, we had this place rocking, the fans were excited. Even the president, Dave Gerhardt, who was the president, former president, chancellor, said, you know, there were some things that sort of were on the cutting room floor that I couldn't get in the store. He said, he took us to heights that we just hadn't been at in football. Fans were excited. It was the kind of thing that really sort of galvanized the Arkansas community. And then having it go so bad, so abruptly, I think it's the thing that turned everybody's stomach, that it had to end that way for everybody.
Last question. Sam Pittman's made it a point this week to talk about how they still recruit off those years. And I can tell you there's a big, beautiful football building on our campus that would not be there, at least not at this point, had it not been for Bobby Petrino's success. What's your take on how Sam Pittman's handled this week?
Exactly like I thought Sam would, a pro, just a total pro. Sam's got no ego. A lot of coaches would never give credit to a predecessor like that as publicly as he has. And, you know, when I actually had a chance to come by and visit with Sam, when I went to Springfield and spent some time with Bobby, it's only about a little more than a 2-hour drive from Springfield to Fayetteville. So I actually came through and spent a day or so there in Fayetteville and visited with Sam and Kendall Briles and Barry Odom, and actually sat down with KJ Jefferson. There is a genuine respect there, you know, for just exactly what you said. It's only been 10 years ago. And, you know, kids only remember so far back when you're recruiting them now. So if you're recruiting an 18-year-old kid, you know, he probably remembers how good they were and how they were swimming in those championship waters. And you can use that in recruiting. Hey, we've been there. You know, they showed what we can do in this league, the best league in America. And I think probably even more so is what you point out, the fact that they had that kind of success, they were able to upgrade facilities and get people on board and get people to donate, you know, and jump in. And you're right, their facilities are great. And I travel all around the country. And I remember Arkansas, what their facilities were like, you know, in 2005, 2004, and where they are now. They're night and day. And I think Bobby's success and the fact that he had them, as I said, on the precipice of maybe playing for championships led to a lot of that. So I'm not surprised at all what Sam has said, the way he's sort of taken the approach he has. Sam's probably one of the more humble, tough, blue collar, exactly what you think he is, guys, in the coaching profession. And you know what? That's why the kids play so hard for him.
Chris, I could talk to you all day, but I know you're on a tight schedule, and I appreciate you making some time for us today. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to talk, and I'm sure that will be a festive atmosphere.
Oh, it'll be
Saturday
good.
There at Reynolds Stadium.
It'll be an event. There's no doubt about it. Chris, thanks.
Thank you.
Do me a favor. When we go to break, pull out your iPhone, pull out your Android, wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe to Hit That Line. You'll get to hear Chuck's podcast 3 times a week. You can go back and listen to previous episodes. Let me tell you something. Chuck's got some great people on. He's had Ken Hamlin on. He's had Tyler Wilson on. He's had Chris Lowe. The guy has contacts. He opened it up with Matt Jones. There's no one has more contacts than Chuck Barrett when it comes to your Arkansas Razorbacks. Subscribe, rate, and review helps get not just Chuck's message, but the Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, and all of that back there. When we come back, more thoughts on this Arkansas-Missouri State game tonight as we're live here from Randall Ford on Arkansas Game Day.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, it's football season. The weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payments where you need it, give you the most for your trade-in. And, you know, they've been doing this a long time. 114-plus years in business and the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Why would you want to shop anywhere else? Come see us today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
When it comes to your vehicle dent repairs, you want a local professional that you can trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your place. Michael, his family, and team have been in the community for over 30 years and are the best in the business. When all the other pop-up hail damage places have packed up and left town, Littleton's is still here taking care of your vehicle every day. Stay local. Stay with the best. Stay with the name you know and trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Highway 112 off I-540 in Pecola.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstar battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
If you're particular about your lawn, when nothing else matters except those perfectly cut stripes, that is your defining moment when you know you want a Skag zero-turn mower. Simply the best, hands down. When no other mower will cut it, stop by Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma and pick out your new Skag zero-turn mower and be the envy of your neighborhood. Come by today to see the full lineup of Skag zero-turn mowers at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Call World of Wireless if you recently lost your internet service in the Paris-Subiaco area. World of Wireless, a local internet provider providing service since 2015 to rural Arkansas. We cover areas east of Fort Smith, south of Fort Smith, and rural areas with high-speed internet with plans starting at $49.95 a month. But you got to call us, World of Wireless, 478-6616. It's 478-6616. If you recently lost service from your internet provider in and around Subiaco and Paris, call us, 478-6616, or go to wowfastinternet.com.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3001 0 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on, Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with the click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattler's got time into the end zone, intercepted.
Intercepted by the Razorbacks, Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
All right, live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Good text in from Mitchell in Lincoln. And you're also welcome to text in 877-377-6963. His thoughts, and he wants our thoughts, on Arkansas's thin secondary against Missouri State's passing offense. Missouri State has aired it out through the first 2 games, and he expects that same thing today. Now, the real test is upcoming when you have to face, now listen to this list, the teams, Alabama, Mississippi State, BYU. The quarterbacks, Bryce Young, Will Rogers, Jaron Hall. Those are some talented dudes that you're going to have to face back to back to back. 2 of those games being on the road. We know that Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy last year, and for good reason. He is incredible. He is an unbelievable football player. And to be honest, might be the best quarterback Nick Saban has ever had. And that's a lucrative list when you think about Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron. Now, the latter 2 are not as talented. But those are the quarterbacks, that trio that you have to go back to back to back. That's tough. Today, and more importantly tonight, you don't face necessarily the guy that in Jason Shelley that is just going to blow your doors off because he doesn't have the same talent around him, Drew, and that's what people keep coming back to.
No, he doesn't. And while it's a good FCS team, like, don't get me wrong, they are the top of the top. I mean, they're a top 10 FCS team, but a top 10 FCS team should never beat a top 10 FBS team. It's that simple. And, you know, it's really hard to try to find something to criticize or say that, hey, Missouri State, they can definitely attack this weakness for Arkansas, because while you put it on paper against maybe quarterbacks like you just talked about, Bryce Young, Will Rogers, and a few others, then, yeah, there may be some small holes, but I just don't understand anybody, and we had somebody bring up, you know, that some people have been talking about this being a trap game. I just don't see it. I really don't. You know, it's just there's nothing in this that will happen tonight that I think will scare you, because while maybe Missouri State might keep it a little closer than you probably want, and by that I mean they're only down by, Arkansas only leads by 21 for most of the game instead of 28 or 35. This should be a pretty easy win.
Yeah, I think Arkansas would cover, depending on what spread you're taking tonight. I think you have a chance to win some money. I think Missouri State and Bobby Petrino will scheme up some things that make Arkansas secondary look iffy at times. But when it's all said and done, Arkansas is not losing this game tonight. Your Razorbacks are not falling to, while he is a good football coach, they're not falling to Bobby Petrino. Got a text in here from John saying, I love Petrino, but I got to pull against him today. And we've seen some texts like this where people are happy to see him back in the state of Arkansas, albeit in an opposing uniform. I don't think there's one right. You know how sometimes there's a right answer to things? This is more of a black and white issue. It's more in the gray of, hey, you can have your own feelings, whatever you think about Bobby Petrino, and I think people understand that it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to the former Arkansas coach, Drew.
No, it's not. And that's the thing that we've talked about all week and all Arkansas game day leading up to this game today, that there is just a lot of mixed feelings about how the Petrino era ended, how it went. It was almost night and day. The joy, the pride that you felt in the program and in Bobby's leadership of that program was tremendous. You were able to hold your head up high, strut around, puff your chest out, talk about we're becoming big bad Arkansas. We're going to be able to hang with Nick Saban. We're going to be able to hang with the big boys of college football to the darkness of what was to follow, and the ultimate thing that ended with Chad Morris, where you hit rock bottom 8 years later. But now you're back up on the rise. You're able to see the sun again, back in the top 10 for the second straight year, And you're going to be there a lot longer than you were last year when you got there up as high as number 8 when you went to Athens and got obliterated by Georgia, but everybody gets obliterated by Georgia, and more evidence out there, especially today with what they're done to South Carolina. So the mixed feelings, there's mixed options in the bag for how people are going to feel, and I'm just not going to really tell them how to feel because everybody experienced it different. It hit everybody different. Some people were able to put it behind it and say, hey, I know everybody makes mistakes. You made a mistake. You paid for it. You paid your dues. It's been a long time. Forgive and forget. Whereas others, always hold on to what if. What if that never happened? What if Bobby Petrino had coached at Arkansas for a few more years? How high could this program be at the moment? But ultimately, if you're in that camp of thinking, you also got to think without Bobby, without the wreck, without whatever you want to say happened, without Brett Bielema, without Chad Morris, you're not sitting here with Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman's the head coach of Arkansas. So, it's one of those things. Everything happens for a reason. And I think you're finally seeing everything happens for a reason starting to pay off.
We as Arkansas fans, and I'm just as guilty of this than any of y'all. In fact, in some cases, I'm more guilty. We play the what-if game too often. What if 69 had gone our way? What if no one had won that second championship? What if the fly ball was caught in foul territory in 2018? There is what I've noticed Sam do better than almost any coach on that campus is he brings up the past positives. He doesn't bring up the past negatives. He brings up the past positives, how that can help his team. We have not heard Sam Pittman mention at all this week or since he's been here about the issue that Bobby Petrino caused and left this program in disarray when what went down. Now, he's brought up nothing but positives, been no negativity. And that's what he does better than any coach on this any coach on this campus is he is so good at using the pros rather than complain about the cons or use them as excuses. This is a guy that walked into a program that hadn't won an SEC game in 2 years. You would think that there would be some issues or things, but what did he say when he immediately stepped onto campus with those young men back in 2000, I guess it would have been December 2019. He said, men, we have all that we need right here. We saw it in year 1 with 3 wins. We saw it in year 2 with 9 wins. And they're on the cusp right now of competing for that SEC championship and in the SEC West. Don't be fooled. Alabama fans are nervous about that game in 2 weeks. They are nervous. And I know we got a game tonight that means a heck of a lot with Bobby Petrino back in town. A&M fans, they have no idea what's going to happen tonight when Miami comes to town. You're not feared, but people are not looking forward to play Arkansas football anymore like they were a couple years ago. It is a completely different change of mentality, change of mindset, and it starts with that guy from Grove, Oklahoma, who grew up admiring this program 90 miles from where he used to live.
It really does. And if there's ever been a situation where a coach can use to see what I'm having to work with, it would have been Sam Pittman. With everything that you just said, a program that hadn't won an SEC game in 2 seasons, let alone him talking about what Bobby Petrino did to the program. He's never mentioned what Chad Morris did to the program. He went out there, tied up his boots, got ready, and did the best with what he had, and ultimately, I think, did a heck of a lot better of a job with Chad Morris's guys and people that were already here in Fayetteville than so many people would have ever thought he could have done. And when you're able to be that type of person, the non-excuse maker, the not of, well, you see what kind of situation I'm in, it's going to take some time. He could have easily said that from day one. Don't get your hopes up. There's a lot of things to be taken care of here. There's a lot of things that I need to straighten out. There's a lot of things that were done wrong in the past that I've got to correct. He never said any of that. He said he's going to get to work. He's going to build this program where he wants to retire, and he's done that. And that's the great thing, and that's why so many people love Sam Pittman.
When we come back, we're going to get into our Bud Light scoreboard update. The 2:30 games have started, including Auburn and Penn State and Oregon and BYU. Don't go anywhere. It's Arkansas Game Day live from Randall Ford.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment, not having enough home time, feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
This is Matt Blaylock for Blaylock Heating and Air and Plumbing Services. We are proud to be a locally owned and operated Fort Smith-based business for over 35 years. We've seen many changes since 1983, but one thing that has stayed the same is our mission to provide the highest quality products, sales, installation, and service to the people we serve, and to give our customers every reason to accept and recommend Blaylock Heating and Air and Plumbing Services as their heating and air and plumbing company. To get a red truck rolling your way, just give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
You know that Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter Insurance agents Ted McAvoy in Greenwood or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about a free insurance review. Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
When you need to customize your ride, whether for work or play, check out River Valley Truck Outfitters. Full line of LED lights for your headlights to work lights, B&W hitches, toolboxes, ladder racks for all your work needs or play, grill guards to full front bumper replacements, full line of WeatherTech and Husky floor mats. Let River Valley Truck Outfitters get your window tinting on. Best prices and quality in the Fort Smith area. River Valley Truck Outfitters can get your ride ready on Highway South 71 on top of Rye Hill. 648-8855. That's 648-8855.
September is here, and at Frank World Furniture, we want you to get this month started off right. So not only do we have no sales tax, but we are marking down every piece of furniture, bedroom furniture, mattresses, and dining sets in the store to unbelievable prices. That's right, marking all furniture down, and no sales tax. In-store, no credit check financing, family-owned and service after the sale. All American-made sofas, love seats, sectionals, and recliners at Frank World Furniture. Best seats in the house.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattlers got time into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the Razorbacks. Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
All right, we're back here on Arkansas Game Day. Drew Barrett, Ty Richardson live here at Randall Ford. Drew, we finally got some decent games now at 2:30 because that 11 o'clock slate this morning didn't necessarily live up to the billing. Ole Miss is in the red zone right now against Georgia Tech. They are playing down there in Atlanta, one of the SEC matchups we have today. BYU facing off against Oregon in Eugene. That should be a fun one. And then Penn State and Auburn are some notable 2:30 games on today. Drew, could this be the unraveling for Brian Harsin starting about right now? Is that what we're going to see if Penn State beats them today, that the whole thing's going to fall apart?
If Penn State is able to beat Auburn on the Plains, then I think that it will start the undeniable downfall for Brian Harsin just because of the boosters that are 100% against them. I mean, the fact that they went as far as to try to start rumors to ruin his marriage is absolutely despicable, but it will be. But the thing is, I don't know if Brian Harsin loses this game. I really don't, because if you look at Auburn's schedule, right, they have not played the best of competition. Mercer and San Jose State, easy enough for me to say, in the first 2 weeks of college football. Now they've got Penn State. If they're able to beat Penn State, they are at home the next 2 weeks after that as well against Missouri and a question mark of a team in LSU. If they win today, they are set up to start 5-0. Then they've got some competition. Then they've really hit the meat and potatoes of their schedule with Ole Miss, bye week, Arkansas State, A&M, Western Kentucky, and obviously finishing the season with the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. But you win today, it almost feels like it'd be hard for Auburn to, continue this push of Brian Harsin isn't the guy. It's hard to fire a guy or, have the talk of it's a hot seat for a guy who's pulling off top 25 victories. I think if he's able to do this, steal a game maybe late in the year against Mississippi State, A&M possibly, we know he's going to beat Western. I mean, that right there, that's an 8-4 team. If you're able to upset State and A&M, you're 8-4. How do you fire a guy that at that point would probably have at least 2 top 25 victories under his belt? With, I'm guessing probably by that time, State will be ranked. I doubt A&M will be. I think they're definitely hitting the slide. But if he finishes at 8-4, how do you fire him? How?
Well, you tell him he's fired.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't know.
That's bad look. That's a bad look. It's already a bad look of what's going on in Auburn. If he finishes 4-8, fine. You save some face. 8-4 and you still fire him? Bro, get out of here.
Auburn might have the craziest boosters in the country, and college football fans are rabid and are nuts, and that's a good thing in a lot of cases. That's why this sport is genuine. That's why this sport matters, because of fans like you that are listening to this show. That's why we have a 2-hour pregame show, because it's not just enough to have Phil and the rest of the guys talk for 3 hours. You need 2 more additional hours from us. You need all-day coverage post-game as well. That's what makes this sport great. But on the flip side, you do have fans that get restless. They're unwilling to give coaches the fair amount of time. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the fair amount of time is for a guy to get it. But it ain't 2 years. I know that. And I know with Chad Morris, that's what he got, and he didn't even get the full 2 years.
That's
that
a
was
different.
Different. It's a lot different. When you know it's not going to work, like Arkansas figured it out under his leadership, and I hesitate to call it leadership because it was anything but that. That's a different story. For Harsin, it seems like with Alan Green ousted, their former athletics director, that was his guy. Harsin was his guy. It seems like it's just a ticking time bomb at this point. And I don't know if that's fair to him. I don't know if that's fair to his players. But, Drew, that's what we have happening right now.
That is what we have happening right now. It's not fair. It's 100% not fair. I mean, the fact of the matter is that they brought in Brian Harsin from Boise State. He had done a good job at Boise. Now, did he do as well as Coach Patterson? No, but, I mean, whoever will do as good of a job as Patterson did at Boise State, but did a good job at Boise State. And it's just not fair. He's been fighting an uphill battle for his entire time there. We're talking about a athletics program that is run so heavily by the boosters their own AD said, I'm not doing it. Their own AD resigned. You know, it's such a fire down there in Auburn that if, you know, Bruce Pearl wasn't able to have a good basketball team last year like he did, if Auburn baseball didn't have the season that they did, making it all the way to Omaha, they would be in the situation to be the laughingstock of the SEC because of the situation that the people that write the checks, that have the money, have put them in. You can't constantly have this back and forth between an athletic department and the boosters deciding who makes the calls. And it's been chaos in Auburn.
Yeah. Whew. Good old Auburn boosters, man. Always making our not just our days, but our college football conversations more entertaining. So back to the games tonight, and we'll come back to Arkansas, Missouri State in just a sec. But the thing that intrigues me about tonight's game between A&M and Miami, I know it's not the stupid Aggie yell that we had to hear again when you woke up this morning. It's the fact that Jimbo made a change, going from Haynes Keene to Max Johnson, the LSU left-handed transfer, who I think is actually a decent quarterback. Now, he's got, I think, an 8-6 record career as a starter when he was in Death Valley, so he doesn't blow your doors off. But I think that game in Baton Rouge is a little different last year if they're not so quick to pull him and put in Nussmeier. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but that's just my opinion on the matter. I think what will happen today and tonight is A&M will find a way to win this game, and you're going to face Johnson next week in Jerry World. That'll be an intriguing. Now, if they lose, you think Brian Harson's seat's getting warm? You think Elijah Drinkowitz's seat's getting warm? Jimbo's contract, even as great as it is and as big as the buyout is on this end, there will be some people examining that buyout clause as of tonight if they lose this game to Miami, and you could make it that much worse, Drew, next week if you beat them in Jerry World. That would be that'd be something. We'll have to talk on a little bit more next week depending on how this game shakes out tonight. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to do a little more Arkansas, Missouri talk here as we're live from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Stay with us on Arkansas Game Day.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Well, it's football season. The weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payments where you need it, give you the most for your trade-in. And, you know, they've been doing this a long time. 114-plus years in business and the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Why would you want to shop anywhere else? Come see us today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best-kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Cooler weather is on the horizon. If football games and fall festivals are on your list of things to do and places to go, make sure your vehicle's maintenance is up to date first. This is Mark with W&W Automotive. Keeping your car and truck on a seasonal maintenance schedule will ensure better gas mileage, better wear on your tires, and a safer trip wherever you go. To schedule a fall tune-up, call me or Kelly at 242-1600 or drop by W&W just off Townsend on South O in Fort Smith. That's W&W Automotive, a bumper-to-bumper certified shop.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? Oh, no way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Phil Hicks in Greenwood about Shelter's home insurance.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Rattlers got time into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the Razorbacks. Dwight McLaughlin.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Hey, we're back here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. You know, we had one of the guys I played basketball with, his name's Brooks, and he is purchasing, I'm kind of sad, Drew, he is purchasing this mock F1 Mustang that we've been sitting next to since we've done the shows here. I'm kind of sad to see it go, but I am happy to see a guy that I get to play basketball with is making the purchase on it.
I'm just sad it's not going into my driveway.
I know, man. It is a beautiful vehicle. And that's not the only thing that Randall Ford has. You heard it from Jimmy a little bit earlier. Everything in the store right now has been marked down. Used inventory, it's the prices and the values going down a little bit, and so they're trying to make up for that. Again, in some cases, in some vehicles, are up to $5,000 off, which you go to randallford.com and find all their inventory, all their information as well. You're going to find Explorers, Rangers, tons of trucks, not just the number one selling truck in the industry, the Ford F-150, Broncos. They have it all here at Randall Ford, including this beautiful retro Ford F-150 that's sitting right out front. Come by and see us. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Drew, before we go and before we welcome in Phil on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com, your final thoughts on this matchup between the Hogs and the Bears that you're getting a chance to see tonight in person.
Yeah, final thoughts. Just it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Bobby Petrino walks out on that field, the reception that he's going to get from the fans. But it's things on the field that I'm looking at is going to be surrounded by Dominique Johnson. How much use is he going to get? How much do we see him, prepared for A&M next week? Outside of that, I'm just ready to watch an easy victory because that's what it's going to be.
I'm selfishly hoping that this game turns into a blowout and a snoozer, so we'll get to see some of the young guys. I know what I have right now in this football team, what they put on the field, but I want to see some in-state guys and what they could be the future for Arkansas football. And I know, playing against Missouri State, they'll play much stiffer competition in the future. But I'll tell you what, I saw Isaiah Satania play in high school. I want to see him in a Razorback uniform. Hopefully we'll get a chance to tonight. For Drew Barrett, I'm Ty Richardson. It's been a great show here at Randall Ford. Phil is up next on the Learfield pregame show.
Well, it's football season. The weather is perfect, and it's a great day to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see one of the sales professionals today. They can answer all your questions, take you on a test drive, get the financing right, get your payment